a man who's Olympic gold medalist for Sweden. He's 5-time All-Star. Maybe one of the most handsome professional athletes of all time.
Mm-hmm. And best dressed, actually, voted in Sweden.
Yeah, in Sweden is a super good dressed place.
Exactly.
Super good.
Ladies and gentlemen, King Henrik Lundqvist.
Hey, what's up, guys? How are you?
King, we're good. Our friend Ty here is battling. I think you got a chance to hear that. We are happy he is back, though, King. We are happy he is back.
Yeah, that was an interesting conversation I was listening into here.
Yeah, our show is terrible, and that is just par for the course there. But we are happy Ty's feeling better. He had a terrible grilled chicken sandwich that really sent him into a downward spiral. He won't do that again.
I won't. Never again.
Fried chicken will only go forward.
You're right.
Yeah, that's what you get for trying to be like King Henry.
Exactly.
Let's talk a little bit here. Obviously, you were incredible in between the pipes. You on TV, great as well. I want to let you know that your guys' crew over there at TNT is phenomenal. We appreciate you giving back to the sport in which you are great at. Let's talk about the goalies, because the goalies end up being the story. So like in our sport, the offensive lines end up being the conversation whenever it comes to playoff time, Super Bowl time. The best offensive line in football won the Super Bowl this past year. That is normally the case. In hockey, I feel like you don't really have the goalie conversation until the playoffs. And then it's like, hey, you have to have a goalie to be able to win. When you look at Bob and you look at Stu, who's more set up right now, you think, to have a run here to hoist Lordo? And what do you see out of both of these goalies throughout this series?
Well, I would say I rank Bobrovsky ahead of Stu for sure in terms of technique and how he moves on the ice. He's so good at recovering on broken plays and get across east to west. The thing with Stuart Skinner, I have to say, I'm impressed how he can bounce back. And I think that's a major thing to have when you're a goaltender. Be able to come back from a loss or a tough game. We've seen it this year in the playoffs. We saw it last year in the playoffs. So if you're just focusing on that, the mindset, the focus a goalie requires to have, especially in the playoffs under so much pressure, there's definitely some positives for Stuart Skinner in Edmonton. But in terms of ranking these two guys, Bob is ahead for sure.
Bob's been there, too. This is the third straight finals, obviously. Long seasons. And I know they talk about goalies like they talk about kickers, or they talk about pitchers, about how the mental warfare against yourself is almost the hardest opponent that you're going to have. You have to have the ability, you have to have the skill, but you also have to mentally be able to show up every single night. How do you think Bob has handled it all? Because obviously they're the reigning champs. And why do you think he's been able to handle it all?
Well, I think we all, as goalies, have different ways of getting to that place where mentally you're sharp, you're able to handle the pressure. I always say goaltending is about making decisions under pressure, and you can't afford any mistakes, really. So obviously, that, you can feel that pressure. And with Bob, I think he has a method where everything he does leading up to a game, in warm-ups or in preparation, it's about finding that place mentally. He looks very calm. And it's interesting, as a goalie, probably similar to a quarterback, you need to be calm in your mind, but at the same time, you need to be on your toes. It's not like, as a goalie, you can try harder. As a forward, you can go out there and be physical and just skate harder. But as a goalie, you can't try harder. You just need your focus to be in the right place and allow the game to come to you, which is a big difference being a goalie versus a skater.
God, that's a great point. I used to say that about my position as a punter. I used to play soccer growing up, and let's say I didn't have a good touch, or I was having an off day, I could at least put pressure on people. I could run full speed at people. I could give effort. For punting, I hit a shank or I don't have it one day. It's like hit a shank, get booed off the field, sit there for 35 minutes, and then you got to go back out there. It's like it's an interesting thing. I didn't even think about that for goalies. That's very, very real. If you're not seeing the puck, there ain't shit else that you can benefit the team with. That's quite a. I assume that's a little bit of a stranglehold on your brain. Now, on that note, Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, Hank, big fan. Yeah. Loved your slow-mo video, Barry and Biz, as you walked into the arena the other day. That was hilarious. One thing we talked about, and I think it was Big Rig who kind of brought it up, was, teams will watch film and they'll kind of find the spots that goalies are, weaker at when it comes to saving pucks. And for Stu Skin, it felt like stick side high in that last game was very apparent. And granted, a lot of those goals are, bar down, piping in and everything, but it felt like they were attacking the top left side of the net, his Stu Skin's right. Can goalies kind of fix that? Is there a way to kind of figuring out your own tells and then going back to the next game and having an emphasis on, getting that shoulder up, watching that side of the net? Or is that just something where that was one game, we're on to the next one, he just needs to bounce back as a whole?
Yeah, I would say obviously after every game you analyze your performance. What do I need to improve? You can see their tendencies, and it's interesting in the playoffs. You do a lot more video. You're watching the other team's power play, penalty kills. You know that team a lot better during the regular season. You just don't have that time. But going into every new series, you spend a lot of time looking at maybe their top players, again, tendencies on their power play. Where do they like to go with these passes or even shots sometimes? So you have a lot of information. And then after each game, you break it down quickly. You can't spend too much time on it or energy, but you do want to get a good understanding of what are they trying to accomplish here. And to your point, there were a lot of east-west plays, and there was a lot of high shots on the blocker's side. So if I'm the goalie, I need to make sure, in positioning-wise, that I'm not, cutting short especially on my pushes to my right to cover that short side. But there was something we talked about on air actually with Stu, like the difference between him and Bob Bobrovsky is just the east-west play, and how Bob is a little bit better there, more power and more control, especially going east to west.
Go ahead, AJ.
Yeah, there are nights where you just aren't seeing the puck. I mean, we got the U.S. Opens going on right now in golf, and some days you just don't have your A game. Or did you ever have that when you're a goalie, and how do you fight through something like that?
Yes, he said, yes.
Yeah, I mean, good question. How do you fight through it? I think as athletes, sometimes you just have to fake it to yourself, what you're telling yourself. Even when things are going wrong or bad, you got to stay confident. If you're talking in between games, I would definitely lean in on great practices to regain that confidence, the touch, and the focus. But if you're in the actual game, a lot of times all it takes is one or two more saves where you feel good and regain that confidence. But again, sometimes you just have to fake it to yourself. Like, you got this, you feel good, you feel fast. What you're telling yourself is so crucial. And sometimes you forget that.
They said you got to watch what you're saying to yourself because you're listening. And
yes, exactly.
And what DeBoer said was, hey, Otter, you give up 2 goals on 2 shots, take a hike. And that's all he's going to be thinking about for the entire offseason. Excited to see him come back. We end here on ESPN. We'll continue digitally, YouTube, ESPN Plus, Disney Plus, and TikTok Live. Tonight, Oilers, Panthers, 8 o'clock on TNT. We continue with King Henry. Okay, that was very professional host stuff right there. Yep. King Henry, I don't know if you saw that. It happened right in front of your eyes. I mean, right there.
That was impressive.
Okay, thank you. Well, you as well, because you backed off. I think you had a little bit more of an answer. I think you heard the music. Calm, cool, some pucks flying. Let me go ahead and get this out of here. I appreciate you. Let's continue to talk about goalie play. Go ahead, Tone.
Yeah, Hank, I had a question. I saw that Bob is second all-time in saves through 3 games in a Stanley Cup final, so he's seeing a lot of pucks. As a goalie, in these games, in these finals games, do you like to get a save or 2 early, like to kind of get the feel of the game? Is like if you're going like 12 minutes into a game and you haven't seen a puck yet, is that something you hate or like?
Yeah, I would say I prefer a lot of shots early on, but it's different between seeing shots and seeing grade A's, right? That's what you want to minimize, the big opportunities. But if the team plays a lot of structure, you're giving up shots, I would say that's the perfect combination, because you don't have time to overthink anything. The instincts takes over and you're just locked in. I would say it's tougher if you have to wait 10, 15 minutes for that first shot, that first touch. So I think also as you get into the big games, the nerves might be a little higher, but the excitement is higher too. You just want to be involved. You want to try to make that difference for your team. It's a great feeling.
Well, a glove snag feels like one that'll really get the juices flowing. Like a clean, that feels, or is it a slide, east to west you're talking about? A slide, it feels good. Like, what is a good one to get the momentum rolling almost?
Well, the glove saves a lot of times, they're the easy one. Well, the fans might think it's the tough one, and it's like everybody's like, oh, what a save. But it's actually, you see it the whole way, and you can kind of read and react, and it's a routine save, but you can make it look like an incredible save. I would say the broken plays are the tough ones. Where hold on, someone is calling me here.
Well, you're King Henry, but yeah.
Makes sense.
A lot of people trying to get a hold of you. We're lucky we got you here.
How do I get back here?
Hey,
there we go. I'm back.
Yeah,
I'm back.
Hall of Famer.
So the broken plays, sometimes the tough ones where you're really locked in and something happens, touches your D and goes to your right and stay in that control. So the more open shots you can get, the better.
How do you you can't see shit, right? Some of those shots, like I'm watching some of these replays,
and they're blocking you too.
Yeah, there's somebody in front of you, and it's getting touched. Like, are you guys just? I don't want to say guessing, because at this stage, I assume it's like second nature for you to know, or instinct to know where it's going, as opposed to saying guessing. But are you just guessing, or your instincts are saying that's probably deflecting this way? Like, the guys can't see a lot of those pucks that are coming through when there's a lot of traffic, right?
Yeah, that's true. It's a big part of the game. Trying to find and fight through those screens. The best thing that can happen is if you can actually see the release of the shot. That's the most crucial part of the shot. If you can see the release, you can kind of read where that puck is going, and you move your body towards it and kind of make it as big as possible. But if you don't see the release, then you're kind of guessing a little bit. But that's really where you read the shot. It's when the puck leaves the stick, and I can kind of predict where that puck is going to end up with my glove or my body. And so that's what you're trying as a goalie, to always find that release spot from guys when they're shooting.
Were you a big blocker to the back of the guy in front of you, or no?
I was more stick on the calves, like hacking and whacking on the calves. Yeah, that was more, because that was harder to see for the ref.
Yeah.
If you're up with the gloves up around the heads, they would see that.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. I like that. Hockey has so much little shit inside of it. Hockey has so much shit inside of the sport. It's like the most, I think it's the most original, traditional sport that we have still going. You know, and it's a beautiful game, great sport. You guys are covering it magnificently. Now, there is a team in a big city that hasn't been around for a while, but obviously you have a lot of history. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, Hank, just curious. When you play a position like goalie, we always hear, mental toughness is one of you have to be able to just flush things and kind of move on if you have a bad game. But when you played in a city like New York, I mean, we've seen what happens. The Knicks make the Eastern Conference Finals and they lose. They fire their head coach. The Yankees lose in the World Series. They want to fire Aaron Boone. It's just like the expectation is that you win. Because you played for the Rangers so long, did the kind of pressure of playing in New York ever amplify like the stress and the anxiety, and kind of you had to lock in even more? Whereas, some of these other goalies in these cities that maybe aren't as hockey crazed or like expecting to win, maybe they can flush things a little bit easier.
I have to say, I felt from day one, I felt that pressure. It didn't matter if it was a pre-season game or regular season or playoff. You always felt like you had to earn your spot, earn your respect in a way. And I love that. It felt like you were under fire all the time. And walking into Madison Square Garden for 15 years, it became home for me, but I never took it for granted. I definitely felt that pressure, but it also made me feel alive. I miss that. Now being away from the game for 4 or 5 years, I realized how much I loved it, even though there were days where, wow, there's a lot of pressure here, but man, it made me feel alive.
Does this make you feel alive right here? Clap bomb coming. Clap bomb.
Oh, yeah. Take it.
Need to get you to the Thunderdome. See, rifle some shots at you. We think you are phenomenal on television. Obviously, you had a great career in between the pipes. And how do you think tonight goes?
This is a big one. I had Edmonton in 6 going into the series, but after game 3, the way Florida took it to Edmonton, I'm definitely not so sure anymore. And I have a feeling Florida's going to take this one. Wow. They just looked so good. They're deep. And I think, there's a lot of focus, attention on Connor and Draisaitl. But the reason why they're here, they had a really deep lineup that helped them get to this point as well. They're going to need their help to turn this around for sure. It's not just down to Connor and Draisaitl to get this one. But I'll put my money on Florida tonight.
How about them being the state of hockey now? Florida.
Listen, it's impressive. 3rd straight final. Before that, you had Tampa, a great organization. They've had a good team for many years, but I would say when they signed Kachuk 3 years ago, there was something clicked in terms of their approach to the game, attention to detail, the will to win. And now you look at this, you're adding Jones and Marchand, and they're just done a great job building that team and create. I think that's one of the most important things is to create the right type of culture.
Yeah.
And listening to them speak after games or even how they approach games, they've created an incredible environment, incredible culture in that locker room, in that organization right now, and it's paying off.
Don't you think Bettman should have nixed the trade from Marshy to go down to
Makes sense.
Didn't that feel like, as soon as he went down there, I think all of us that kind of follow along and know this Florida Panthers team and know what Marshy is, it's like that feels like it shouldn't be allowed. He fits there perfectly. I mean, he absolutely fits there perfectly. We talked to Kachuk about it after the trade, and Kachuk was like, it does feel like he was kind of born to be a Florida Panther. Now, the Bruins fans obviously don't like hearing that, but it is real. He fits their culture perfectly. He's got championship pedigree, and obviously the boys love him as soon as he gets down there. That feels like a great trade, great move, perfect move for the Florida Panthers to continue this dynastic run that they're on.
I was shocked, just like most of us. But to your point, he fits in perfectly. He has that grit, that mentality that we just talked about, the winning mentality. Yes, you need great players, but more so you need the great mindset and those small little plays. You look at Kachuk is making, or Bennett, and now Marchand. They have a bunch of players. My first reaction when I heard he was going to Florida, one more guy like that there. I mean, it's getting packed in that locker room with this similar type of players, and they're having a lot of success because of it.
Yeah, it's becoming a monopoly down there, and I don't love that. We need the Pittsburgh Penguins back. You know that, King Henry, and I think Muse will certainly handle that, and we'll watch you tonight. We appreciate you for your time and great work all season.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Hey, Swedish is the native language?
Yes.
Okay, what is Swedish similar to? How do I say hello and thank you in Swedish?
Hej, tack så mycket.
Hey, all right, I didn't know we were doing that. I thought we finished it. Hey there.
How do you spell that?
I got to lock back in. Hey.
Hej.
Okay.
Tack så mycket.
Tack så mycket.
Very good.
And
very good.
Tack så mycket is thank you?
Thank you very much.
Well, King Henry, tack så mycket for your time. You're the man. Ladies and gentlemen, Hall of Famer, Henrik Lundqvist.
Hey.
Tack så mycket, AJ. Tack så mycket.